Yeah, we were just on a turn, Jack, but now 710 freeway from the 10. It's stolen. Gray Toyota, no plates. Maybe exiting Valley Boulevard from the 710. Yeah, another turn there, Tim. We're now in Alhambra. Wow, we're really picking up speed here on Valley Boulevard. Stolen. Okay, copy that, check. And thank you to everyone who is joining us online. We're also streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. I'm Eliana Moreno, a news shopper 4, along with my pilot, Sarah Garabetian. And this is the LAPD in pursuit of a possible stolen car. But this driver has just brought himself to essentially a dead end, turning into that parking lot with really no way out. So he's trying to U-turn to get past the squad car and to get out of this situation that he put himself into. But this is Alhambra, folks. We're on Benito Avenue near Valley Boulevard. Continuing on Benito from Valley, just that single LAPD unit in pursuit, the LAPD Central Division. Now, we first heard about this on the scanner. LAPD's Central Division was where we first heard it, but then my pilot Sarah looked out the window and it was literally right in front of us near the 710 and the 10 in the Monterey Park area, and we picked it up, and he immediately exited the freeway and has been on surface streets ever since. Really high speeds at times. We've seen as much as 80 miles an hour on surface streets. Fortunately, he has slowed down somewhat, but these are very small residential streets, and he's still going about 40 to 50 miles an hour, so still a very dangerous situation. There's the freeway there just on the left side of the screen. A silver Toyota, older model. We can see significant paint damage, and the LAPD believes that this is a stolen car. Okay, going to be under us here for just a moment. He may have the opportunity to get on the freeway because you can see him just kind of paralleling the freeway there on Ramona Boulevard, on Ramona Road rather. Hard on the brakes a little bit there, so we saw a little bit of smoke. Let's see if he gets on the freeway. Yep, here you go. This is westbound 10 freeway from Hellman. So we're still in the Alhambra area. Whoa, getting right in front of that Beetle there. Moving all the way to the left here. Westbound 10 freeway at the Fremont curve. He's in the fast track lanes here of the 10 freeway. Let me widen out just for a moment. I want to see if any other units have joined the mix, and they have not. So still just one unit in pursuit, but I hear a secondary unit coming into play now. I hear him saying that he's arriving on scene, so he should just be on the right side of our screen the next time I widen out. Continuing on the 10 freeway. Yeah, this is the 10 freeway here. Westbound the 10 freeway. So here's the situation we're going to get into, unfortunately, folks. There is a Dodgers game tonight, which means that there is a TFR, which means we may be somewhat limited once we get into downtown in terms of how close we'll be able to get to this pursuit. But we'll, of course, follow along as much as we can as he continues here westbound on the 10 freeway in the East Los Angeles area. passing Eastern now. So 10 at Eastern, coming up to Soto. So we're getting very close to County USC Medical Hospital. Essentially, we're just on the south side of it. Airship coming overhead in 30 seconds is what we're hearing. Air 16 is going to be the airship overhead. And you see the vehicle there all the way to the right. It looks like he may be trying to keep his options open so that he can exit. I am hearing, though, that once the airship gets overhead, they're going to go into tracking mode, which means that that unit that you see there will have to back off, and it's just going to be the airship overhead. And you'll start to see our picture get a lot further as well, because, again, we were about to enter into the Dodgers TFR area, so we're going to have to stay about 3 miles away and just follow it from a distance. But what we're seeing here is the vehicle continuing westbound on the 10 freeway at Soto, which means he's going to be coming up to the merge with both the 101 and the 5 freeway. And even if we lose sight of it with the camera, I'll continue to follow along on the scanner and try to keep you updated the best we can. And then once it exits the TFR, then we'll be able to get back overhead. Okay, still westbound 10 approaching State. So what happens when you get to this section of the freeway is basically if you stay to the right, it gets you on the 5. If you stay to the left, it gets on the 101. Right now he's set up to go 101, Sarah. Yeah, 101 north. I can still see him from here, actually. Go for it. Okay. No worries. He's 101 at Vignes, so passing by Union Station. And I see Union Station there. They're going to ask the ground units to re-engage because the airship can't follow through the area. And he's 101 at Alameda now. So we're going to go around. We're going to try to catch it on the other side of the TFR, which will put us roughly in the Hollywood area. And then we should be able to see it there if he's still on the 101 freeway. Of course, if he exits on the surface streets in downtown, then we can't follow him. But at this point, still hearing 101 North, so we're going to hop over to the Hollywood area and try to pick him up there. .101 at the 110. Passing the 110 freeway now. There's a shot of Dodger Stadium. The reason why we can't get any closer, they've got a game going on tonight. Ground units are re-engaging, 101 at the 110. Okay, they're asking the airship to let them know once he can re-engage, once he clears the airspace. So he's having to do the same thing we are. So for that reason, the ground units are back into play. But if you're just joining us, this is a police pursuit. I know we can't see the car right now, but we hope to be able to see it in a few minutes. And it's the LAPD that's in pursuit. They believe that the older model Honda Civic, I believe it is, that they are following is a stolen car. Continuing 101 freeway at Alvarado. Unknown how many people are in the vehicle, but it's a pursuit that we first heard about in the LAPD Central Division, and we picked up at around the 10 and the 710 freeway in the Monterey Park area. .101 at Silver Lake. Okay, there's Silver Lake. I kind of just spotted one of the cop cars there for just a moment. Passing Vermont. LAPD is asking for CHP to be notified, which makes sense since this is a pursuit that's on the freeway. The CHP is going to be best equipped to follow a chase on the freeway. 101 at Melrose. Maybe exiting Santa Monica Boulevard. Okay, there's the airship overhead. Vehicle just backed into one of the police cruisers. We're just coming overhead now. It's the Santa Monica overpass at the 101. It's just coming into frame right now. As Saru brings the helicopter around, you're going to see it with us for the first time. You see the vehicle has backed right into that police cruiser. Such a dangerous situation, and unclear why he did that. But I'm hearing on the scanner, they're trying to block the freeway off-ramp so that no other civilian vehicles come into this situation where there is possibly going to be guns drawn in direction of that vehicle. We won't push in too much because it could be a very sensitive situation. We don't know what's going to happen, but I can tell you that their guns are drawn in the direction of the vehicle that just backed up into that lead LAPD unit. And I'm starting to see a little bit of smoke possibly coming from the possible stolen vehicle here. Again, we're just off of the 101 freeway at the Santa Monica Boulevard exit. You see the additional units of the LAPD coming to the off-ramp. And the reason that they were so far behind was that this was actually a tracking situation where it was the airship only, and there was only, I believe, just that one unit following the vehicle on the 101, and then he attempted to pull over here at Santa Monica, and that is when, for whatever reason, he backed up into that squad car. So you can see kind of some of that smoke that I was telling you about. You can still see the driver there. Appears to be moving around. And I've got my finger on the zoom, so I'm ready to zoom out depending on what I think is going to happen. Because this, of course, is a situation where really anything can happen. He just backed up into that squad car, so that will be considered assault with a deadly weapon on a peace officer. And this was a situation where the driver was wanted for possibly stealing that older model silver Honda Civic. I'm listening on the scanner. They're not making call-outs to the vehicle just yet. I think they're trying to just get everything in a place where they clear everybody else out so that nobody ends up in front of that vehicle. And it almost looks like the driver is kind of bobbing his head, but it could just also be a reflection of the light. Hard to tell, but it does appear that he's moving around a lot in there. CHP is also on the way, but at this point there's no estimated time of arrival. I see one officer with a shield. And this is a situation where they would normally bring out the police canine. I'm not seeing any canine units here yet. But really, time is on the side of the officers at this point. They can really slow things down, get everything into place before they attempt to make call-outs on the vehicle. And if the driver and anybody else who may be inside decides that they're not getting out, this could turn into a standoff situation that could possibly require that the SWAT team come out. So I'll explain that a little bit more if it comes to that. But for now, what they're trying to do is just to clear the traffic out of the area, clear the off-ramp for Santa Monica for the 101 freeway. This is the northbound side of the 101 freeway. And this, again, all began because LAPD officers from the Central Division spotted what they believed to be a stolen car. They tried to pull it over in the LAPD Central Division, which is roughly the downtown area, but the driver decided not to yield and instead go into pursuit on the eastbound 10 freeway. He then got onto the 710, and you can kind of see the driver there definitely moving around a lot. So it's unclear what their frame of mind may be at this point, but definitely moving around a lot. And that always makes officers nervous because that's not what you want to see. You want to see a driver who throws the keys out the window and then follows all of their commands. But at this point, this person does appear to be moving around a lot. So they don't know if this is a situation where the person could try to reach for something that could harm one of the officers. But I'm seeing additional officers show off with their less than lethal rounds. The vehicle doesn't really appear to have tints, so I believe that the officers are able to clearly see this person's actions. And I am hearing talk about spike strips, so they may try to deploy a set of spike strips in front of the car so that if the driver decides to take back off, he would run right over him. And I keep saying he, but at this point it's unconfirmed whether the driver is in fact a man or a woman or how many people may be inside. Yeah, I agree, Jamie. Moving around a lot. Hands on his or her head. And the 101. Let me check real quick. So Saro just pointed out that all freeway traffic is stopped on the 101 North, so I just want to show you that super quick. Of course, don't want to pull away for too long since we don't know what's going to happen at the termination, but that is, of course, important for our viewers to know the northbound 101 freeway is completely stopped just south of Santa Monica Boulevard in the Hollywood area, and the backup is starting to build. I see it backing up to about Vermont, but this is going to get real bad real quick. So again, that's going to be the northbound side of the 101 freeway. If you're trying to get into the San Fernando Valley, taking the 5 freeway or taking even the 2 north up to the 5 freeway may be a better option for you tonight. Sure. I'm just going to get this backup shot one more time. Again, northbound side of the 101 freeway. Just south of Santa Monica Boulevard, completely stopped as officers attempt to take that driver into custody. And that driver, again, is just at the end of the Santa Monica off-ramp, with a backup building on this northbound 101 freeway coming away from Vermont. People up on the top there? Yeah, people on the parking structure right above. And then you said bridge, so bridge this way? Oh yeah. So yeah, there's onlookers on the bridge, and then there's a few onlookers on a parking structure next to all of this activity as well. Is it clearing out those people? No? No. Oh, let's see. Okay, Santa Monica and the 101. So this officer here, this officer here is about to deploy a set of spike strips up ahead, just in case that vehicle were able to move again. The driver would hopefully run right over those spike strips. So he's deploying those at the end of the off-ramp. So they're going to keep the northbound side of the 101 shut down just in case the driver were to get out of the vehicle and try to run onto the freeway. There's a little bit of a hill there, so they'd have to run down the hill and then onto the freeway. So that is why they are keeping the northbound side shut down. So again, if you normally travel on this 101 freeway headed north out of downtown and into Hollywood, I can tell you that the backup is now stretching just a little past Vermont. Now, I just heard one of the officers call the driver a she, so this very well could be a woman driver behind the wheel. We had no official confirmation initially of whether it was a man or a woman, but now they appear to be referring to the driver as a she. They may be approaching soon because they wanted to make sure that those spike strips were set up before they attempted to do so, and they now are set up at the end of the off-ramp. So we may start to see some movement very soon from those officers. Okay. The airship wanted them to wait before they approached, but the officers didn't copy, so they're approaching now. That one lead officer has a shield, that other officer hitting the windows with his baton, trying to break that back window out. Hard to tell what the driver is doing. Let me get into my other doubler so we can see a little bit more clearly. There we go, driver door opening. The driver, believed to be a woman, now putting her hands out towards the officers. And they are placing the handcuffs on her now. It really ended as well as it could have, considering how dangerous this pursuit was. But now you see the officers are clearing the vehicle, making sure that nobody else is inside. And I'll wait to hear the official code 4 on that one, which means that the situation is resolved. But here's a slightly tighter shot there of the driver. Appears to be a woman. And they have her now in the front of that squad car. They're going to wait for a woman officer to do a cursory search of her. And I do see a couple female officers out here, so they won't have to request any from another division. But there you go. There's the female officer that we see on scene. She will do the search of the driver, make sure that there's nothing on her person that could possibly harm any of the officers, and once they feel good about it, they will put her in the back of the squad car and take her back off to the station. And there appears to be nobody else inside of the vehicle. So they're saying the one individual was in that car is now in custody. The off-ramp, though, remains shut down, but the officers will hopefully be able to clear it soon. Although that vehicle was involved in a collision with that lead CHP, or lead LAPD unit, rather. So that could possibly mean that they will, just as I said it, they said it on the scanner. They're actually they're gonna keep the off-ramp closed because of the accident investigation, but the freeway itself will reopen here very soon so that this 101 North can continue to flow, because at this point they are at a complete stop, and they've been at a complete stop now for a good 15 to 20 minutes with a very heavy backup coming away from just south of Vermont. So essentially from Silver Lake to Hollywood, this is what the 101 freeway looks like, a complete parking lot. But really, again, things ended as well as they could have. One person now in custody. And that is the latest here from Hollywood in News Chopper 4. Once again, I'm Eliana Moreno, along with my pilot, Sarah Garabetti, and we thank you very much for watching. And we will see you on the NBC4 News at 11 o'clock, coming up here in about 20 minutes. See you then.